I can't really either. He's annoying. Hey, everybody. Hey, YouTube. We're just talking about our favorite guy, John Rothstein. All right, let's get started. It is the 200 level, episode 373. I'll let you know for those that are on the YouTube stream when the second half gets underway in case you're timing it up with us. But a fairly, I'd say, impressive first half. Brian, all I know is the scoreboard is impressive. The fact that you're leading, we have started. 20 minutes to go in this game and a chance for a huge road win. A 2-point Illinois lead at halftime. So 3-4 Tennessee is up and no good. So how are we up to, Brian, is my question.
It's a great question. I mean, the game was back and forth, but Tennessee maintained the lead the majority of the first half. I mean, Illinois just don't back down. They just keep going. They're getting the board, getting rebounds. Luke Goody looks good at getting the rebounds. Marcus Damask there.
Nice putback by Coleman, who's starting to really come into his own, I feel like.
No doubt about it.
So Illinois with a 4-point lead, 38-34, and a game that started with Tennessee scoring 20 points in the first 5 minutes of game action has slowed to a pace that seems to favor Illinois, a bigger team. But you and I were talking, I mean, we saw Tuesday night, Illinois can play a fast-paced game as well. It just felt like Tennessee, as they miss another shot, they were really forcing the issue early before Illinois just
Coleman
sort of...
for three.
No good, but, come on, Ty, take it back out.
What makes that first half more impressive is you did all of that without Terrence Shannon being that much effective on offense. I mean, he only had 4 points, 1 field goal in the first half.
This is Quincy Guerrier with the takedown low. They're not going to call a foul there, and hard to say in real time. It looked a little bit out of control or that he might have lost the ball a bit going up. But it's a 4-point lead for Illinois with 18:40 to go. So we'll do a little bit of play-by-play, but also just comment on the larger things that we're seeing here. Kinecht misses that badly. Now, I had a good text from Trevor in our text thread that we have, and come on, nice taking it. Coleman's got to finish, but he does get fouled. So he'll go to the line there. A nice pass from Terrence on the break, and Coleman misses the dunk but gets fouled. So the overriding takeaway that Trevor had, and I would agree with this, is that regardless of how this game ends, and of course the win would be huge, we've already found something out, and that is on the road against a really good team, you belong.
That's right. This team is capable of playing against anybody. I mean, they really could realistically rival Purdue for the Big Ten championship. I mean, I thought that, kind of coming into the season that was really a kind of a fairy tale, situation that could happen. But now, I mean, anything's possible with this group.
Coleman makes the first. What about this? Illinois, pretty good free throw shooting team the last couple games.
Ty Rogers 3 for 4 in the first half.
Yeah, which was surprised me. Now, we will get into some of the issues perhaps, and I know Ty is kind of a score peg round hole situation. You're playing essentially a 4 at the 1, and that's leading to a few issues. But he does tip that back there. They are going to call a foul, or they're going to review something for a hook and hold. Let's see, because Ty gave the thumbs up. I think that's what they're looking for here, Brian, with 18:29 to go. But let's get that issue out of the way, because overall, listen, Illinois is up 5, so we have the ability to nitpick, and it's not any existential threat for this team, I think. But I noticed early in that game that Ty was just out of sorts, and out of all the guys that seem to be really finding their way into their roles, I feel like he's just sort of that, I don't know. He's a young guy that feels a little bit lost out there, but granted, he's the only sophomore in the starting 5.
That's true. And on the offensive end, you can certainly tell that he's kind of struggling. And, is he the point guard? Is he not the point guard? I mean, you've got 4 or 5 guys that are capable of bringing the ball up the court. But defensively, I mean, he's just an animal out there on defense, and that's really where his strength is.
And I think as this game goes along, and it's kind of got a bruising pace to it right now, that if it comes down to the last 5 minutes and you can put a tie on their short point guard and really just make it that much more difficult for Tennessee to get into their half-court sets, all the better. So they're looking at this here. It looks like 30 might have had a hook and hold. I've seen more egregious ones. I'm not, to be honest, even sure exactly what the rule is.
Same.
So we'll see if Illinois gets a break. I don't think there's anything in this game that it made me think the refs have been unfair to Illinois. If anything, I think we've gotten some advantageous calls.
I couldn't agree more.
But to Illinois' credit, they're taking advantage of it. Making a lot of free throws, though, that was a miss there. So we'll wait and see, because we don't have the sound on TV. The chat window is kind of split on whether or not that was a hook and hold.
I'd like to see them attempt less threes in the second half here. Hopefully they can get some more going inside. I mean, Dane was pretty much a non-factor in that first half. I don't even know 2-3 minutes. I don't know how much time he got. But
he had one nice take and one nice offensive rebound. But yeah, and he had a block. So he maybe played 3 minutes.
Yeah.
If that. And I do think that Coleman, listen, if you can play him all 20 minutes here, except for maybe stealing a minute before a media timeout, you probably will try to do that. Now, judging by this, it is not. Yes. And I guess they were looking for maybe tie on that. Is that right, Jacob? But regardless, there's no hook and hold. You made one of 2 free throws. You're up 5. And we are maybe 5 minutes into the podcast and a minute and a half into this half. But that's basketball.
That's basketball. That's right.
Okay, so Tennessee with the ball and a chance to try to get something going offensively. The other story here, Brian, is that Tennessee's offense. Oh, they're just going to call a common foul, it looks like, on Ty? No. It is. So it's a hook and hold on Ty.
Interesting. Yeah, that could have gone the other way, I thought.
Well, anyways, the guy that he was hooking and holding apparently will get 2 shots and Tennessee gets the ball. Would hate to see this as some sort of big moment in the game, but he misses the first. So already not a huge calamity for Illinois. This is Josiah Jordan-James, who's a big fella. And he stepped back and made a 3, I believe, earlier in the game, too. All right, so 4-point game, Tennessee with the ball. Basically, that negates Coleman's free throw. Yeah, you mentioned it earlier. Terrence and Damask have not really done much of anything.
No, and you're up 4 at Tennessee on the road.
And Kinecht has been quiet too, but I think that's probably him and Terrence canceling each other out. Now this is Kinecht.
Well, and I don't know if he's 100% healthy or not.
That's true. He rolled his ankle a game or two ago. They're going to call this an and one as he takes it up, and he's tough.
I mean, these are 2 really, really physical teams. I mean, this is a good matchup too.
Do you feel when this game started, there's certain games like Florida Atlantic felt a little bit more immediate, meaning, okay, you got this opportunity, let's take advantage of it right now. Because you get a win like that, I'm watching this first half, and even when Illinois was down as much as 8, I'm like, this is kind of a fun little Saturday afternoon game. Now, of course, it matters, and getting a win would be huge, but it's just the fact that a loss isn't the end of the world, and more the eye test part of it. There's still positives that could be taken away in this game, even if you're on the wrong side of the scoreboard at the end of it.
I'd agree 100%. I mean, even if you do lose this game, you're still going to be in the top 25. I mean, you've proved that you can play against anybody. You're playing on the road against a really tough Tennessee team that's lost their last 3 Power 5 games, or group of 5 opponents.
You see, what I like, too, about this effort from Illinois, Brian, is we see another second chance opportunity as Terrence hits a 3. All started by being really active on the offensive boards. And Illinois has done a pretty good job of that. After the first 5 minutes where it seemed like Tennessee was grabbing everything, and Tennessee was grabbing, I think, of their 5 first missed shots, 3 of them they grabbed for offensive boards. Ever since then, Illinois has really cleaned up on the boards, both defensively and offensively. Second chance, huge opportunity there. It's a 4-point lead again for Illinois. 17-20 to go. Here's Ziegler, the little point guard, finding their big down low. It is no good, but he gets his own board. Terrence trying to knock it out. This is going to be kicked out for a 3.
Good defense by Coleman there.
Great defense. And we're going to go the other way, over the back on Tennessee.
There we go.
Coleman active. Now, what we got here? 17 minutes to go. Still a 4-point lead for Illinois. They're up 2 at half. Do you ever play that game, Brian, where you have a lead in a game, and with each media timeout, you're like, okay, well, just get the lead to this. Like this idea that you're basically playing addition and subtraction, and if you're finding yourself at each media timeout in a better or no worse situation than before, then you're on the right track, right?
That's right. I mean, I judge it based on runs during those media timeouts, in between media timeouts. And, really, this game, there really hasn't been any runs on either side for the most part.
Not huge, no. And if it has been a run, it's been like a prolonged 6-7 minute thing where one team goes on a big drought and the other gradually builds up a bit of a lead. Now, that would have been an amazing finish there for Tennessee, but a great board, and they kick it back out. Kinecht is going to take it in, and it's up and in. He's really, really good. All right, so Illinois with a chance on a break maybe for Terrence. Up, and he gets fouled.
All right.
Third foul on Tennessee, 16:30 to go here in the half. I feel like this is going to be a knockdown, drag-out, slow, free throw shooting, heavy half.
Well, there's fouls to give on both sides, really.
For key players.
Mm-hmm, that's right. It's good to see Terrence active, though, to start the second half. That big 3.
And I got to wonder, okay, Vescovi, who is a pretty solid bench player for Tennessee, that's his 3rd. I got to wonder with Terrence, he's been an alpha all season. He's got 7, I guess, quietly, but he did have a 3. So only 4 in the first half. He makes the first. Yeah, it does feel like he's due for your signature Terrence kind of 6-0 run, where it's just you get a couple stops defensively, and then you get the opportunity for breaks, which that's one thing Illinois 43 points on the road against a really good defense, but not a lot of them, I don't believe, have come from transition.
No, that's right. And I think against FAU, the combination of Terrence and Marcus Damask had like 49 or 59 points in the second half.
Yeah.
Against FAU.
At least 25 of those were Damask. I know that much.
That's right.
For him, what is he, at 2 or 4 points? I forget where he's at. But, Terrence already is at 9, just kind of quietly ho-hum. He's got 9, and he'll get more.
And Damask is on the bench right now. It'd be nice to see him get going here in the second half, though.
Kinecht, foul from Goody. Yeah, this is going to be tough because this is really, if you stop Kinecht, I think you win the game.
I agree.
Not to be oversimplistic about it, but there's not anyone else on Tennessee that scares you that much, and Luke just kind of ran into him. As good as Luke has been, that was an uncharacteristically kind of lazy closeout right there.
And that's also a senior getting the call.
Sure, might have got his leg out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Reggie Miller style. Kinecht going the line here. He's a big dude. Jesus. Imagine if that guy was on Wisconsin. That would really be a nightmare. But they might be a nightmare anyways as constructed.
We'll see what happens against Arizona today. But if they if they somehow find a way to win that game.
It's out in Arizona, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Second shot for Kinecht is up, and it's good. So it's back to a 2-point game. You're right where you started from. This is going to be kind of like I felt during the Florida Atlantic game. Settle in. Don't get too high or too low because it's just going to be close for the next 16 minutes of regulation. I don't see either of these teams being able to put the other one away.
We'll see what kind of a second half here Gary A can have, too. He had 12 in the first.
Oh, wow. What a feed for Ty. This is going to be Quincy finding Coleman for an open three. That's out of bounds on going to be Illinois ball.
That's Illinois ball.
Oh, God. Oh. No, of course they don't call that. They're going to call push on Quincy Guerrier. Anyway, it's right back where you started. You're 4 minutes in. It's a 2-point Illinois lead.
Tennessee with some momentum, though.
Yeah, a little bit. And, I mean, it's probably a crazy environment down there, too. I love the ability for this team to get on the road. 2 tough road environments, though I imagine that Rutgers was quiet for most of that game because of how you controlled it. But, yeah, the ability to get these early road tests and, worst case, a split isn't too bad in December.
No, I agree. And you've only got, 3 more games the rest of the month?
You got Colgate, Missouri, and one after that before you start Big Ten play.
Fairleigh Dickinson, I think?
Yeah, Fairleigh Dickinson, that's right. And then I believe you start Big Ten play at Northwestern?
That sounds right.
And then at Purdue.
I mean, gosh, Northwestern beating Purdue. I mean, are they the 4th best team in the league right now?
Ugh. They're probably top half in what is a bad conference.
Things could go so many different ways in this league. I mean, to start the season, I thought Maryland was the 3rd best team. And
they look awful.
And Michigan State. I mean, those are 2 teams that I definitely had slated in that second tier. But the way things are going right now, just anything's possible. Michigan started off looking really, really good, and then they lost 3 out of 4.
They can't play defense.
They
cannot stop anybody. And this will be Juwan, I would assume, his last year, which is a shame. I'd love for him to stay up there forever. I remember the Beeline era all too well. And this Big Ten is just, I don't know how wide open it is because even with Purdue losing at Northwestern, it feels like their floor is so much higher than anybody else.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I don't see Purdue losing more than a handful of conference games. I mean, you might have a stunner like Northwestern, 1 or 2 more times, but Purdue is just really, really tough. And
they look like a 16-4. I know they dropped their first, but
they're going to be in the top 10 all year, I would expect.
I mean, they won't lose at home.
No, I wouldn't expect. No.
Slot in 10, I would assume, because Mackey is almost impossible to win at. Well, we got a break here. Just a reminder that the 200 level is brought to you by DP Dough, online at dpdough.com for all the best deals and prices. dpdough.com. Also, Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing. Give them a call at 217-841-4728. Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing, your home's best friend. Also, got to thank Owen Builders LLC, online at owenbuildersllc.com. Check out a gallery of their work, including patios, decks, and home additions. Luke Owen and his staff at owenbuildersllc.com. And, of course, Brian Hanson, who is here in the flesh for a live reaction podcast online at brianismyguy.com. Life, auto, home, business renters. I might have asked you this last year during one of our podcasts, but what is the rarest kind of insurance that you've ever been able to offer?
Oh, that's a great question.
I mean, how many different kinds of insurance does State Farm actually offer?
State Farm has almost 150 different products.
150, okay.
All
the most obscure.
That's right. I mean, you just have to think of the business product lines that we offer. There's so many different types of businesses out there, and there's unique products for each one. We concentrate primarily home auto life business. We do dabble a little bit in the health insurance side, but we don't do any individual medical.
Okay. I had a insurance. I maybe need to talk to you about this too. With all this equipment down here, I forget what it's called. It's not equipment insurance. Possession insurance. I don't know.
So we
you itemize all your things and say
so
this is the price.
personal article policy.
That's
we,
it.
We,
yes.
we can talk about that.
Okay.
Offline
I think
sure.
I think I should because I've acquired so many things over the years that it's like I gotta make sure. I'd put the Simpsons arcade game on that too. I can't lose that. 42-44. Well, I just did the thing that Lante hates. I did the reverse score. It's 44-42 and a take here and a foul again on Guerrier as Kinecht is cooking.
That's already 5 for Illinois this half.
Yeah, and 3 for Tennessee. So this game is just going to slow to a snail's pace, and I think it's just going to be the Shannon Kinecht show.
I think Illinois only had 5 in the first half.
Yeah, because they had 3 and they gave maybe even 4.
They had 4 in that first half.
That's right. We gave the 4th in the last possession.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Kinecht here.
Speaking of Kinecht, he's got 2.
He makes the first. This will be a tie game after he makes the second.
Vescovi has 3 fouls.
Oh, man. So he came from northern Colorado. Unbelievable. Were they even in the tournament last year? I don't remember their name.
I know Illinois dabbled in that transfer recruitment a little bit. He was a name that kept coming up, but Tennessee, very fortunate to get him. I mean, he might be a top 5 player in the country right now.
All right, so he misses that, and good board here from Dane, and a foul on Tennessee. So the fouls are piling up. That's their 4th, but fortunately will not be a shooting foul.
Fortunately.
So as I'm watching this game and trying to figure out how the rest of this half is going to go, yeah, I don't know. I think that Terrence, there's a switch that will flip in him when he sees Kinecht continuing to just be. That's what Tennessee's offense is going to be.
Come on, Marcus. This is the second time.
Second time. And this is going to lead to 2 points for Tennessee.
Unbelievable.
He's had a bad game, and boy, talk about following up 33 points, and that's just, you can't do that.
I mean, Tennessee is just so disruptive on defense.
And both of those were right at the half-court line. You just got to rush it over there and be done with it. So Illinois now trailing for the first time since maybe 3 minutes to go in the first half. 15 minutes to go in this half. 6 turnovers for Illinois. We got 3, and we got a moving screen on Dane, who you lose, unfortunately, as good as Dane can be against certain opponents. Man, he is a hot and cold individual out there. And I don't know why Damascus trying to turn. They showed the replay there, and he was just doing a crossover dribble.
Wow. The momentum, we have lost all momentum. We're going to need to get a stop and a 3 here just to kind of get back into this game.
And it starts with a stop, because if you can get a stop, then I don't want to see the ball leave Terrence's hand in the next possession. Because worst case, he can draw a foul. The way this second half is being called, he can get to the line. I want to see Harmon be a little more active offensively too, because I think he can be someone that can get you a bucket. And Kinecht is
he's just
unstoppable.
Yeah,
and now it's got to be Terrence. This needs to be a 1 versus 2 battle right here. Screw the team aspect. I need Terrence. He finds Damas. The 3 is up. It is no good. He has had a bad game.
Wow.
Objectively bad. What's the run here?
7-0. 7-0 run. We were just talking about
first run of the game, really.
It seems like it, yeah.
In a fairly short amount of time. This is going to be Kinecht again, though he dribbles back out. Coleman on him. Kinecht.
Here we go. All
nice. Good job by Luke jumping the passing lane. And this is going to be Coleman, who passes up a 3, finds Luke instead. Luke over to Terrence. Terrence, take a baseline. Okay. He's trying to go in.
Wow.
If that went in, that would have been insane, but it does not, and it's going to be Tennessee ball, a little bit too acrobatic there. It's like he anticipated he'd get more contact and maybe draw a foul, and then there was no one there.
There we go.
What a block. No goaltend either. Illinois might lead the nation in goaltending.
Coleman Hawkins is a big part of that.
47-44. Yeah, let's see here.
Oof.
That was close, but hey, you got the benefit of the doubt right there.
That was close.
I think it was far enough away from the backboard where the officials were not going to call that a goaltend.
It'd be hard to reverse that.
All right, so it's 3-point Tennessee lead here with 13:57 to go.
Lawhorn coming into the game.
Stealing a few minutes. Well, Damascus has been effective for you right now, so I think that, yeah. But now you have Dre Gibbs, Lawhorn, and Ty Rogers out there, and you take out Goody as well, so much for 3-point shooting. I mean, Harmon is out there, though. So Harmon, I think, would camp out and just wait for a possible open 3. This is going to be Kinecht from the SEC. Logo, no good. Great defense from Ty.
Great defense. Oh, come on,
Oh, you got to corral that loose ball, and it's going to be out to Kinecht. The 3 is up. That's a killer.
Oh, man.
6-point lead. At a certain point, though, Brian, like someone's got to body him up.
10-0 run.
And that's all him, is it not? Or at least 8.
It is. I mean, he's doing what he does.
You're letting the nightmare scenario is like what the threat is, and letting that be the thing that beats you. Sometimes you can swallow that and say that's what it is, but when you have the lead on the road and you have some momentum going, that's just the one guy you can't let get hot.
Well, it reminds me a lot of that Marquette game.
Colgate.
I mean, what a game he had. I mean, you could stop just about everybody but him. We'll see how this plays out. I mean, I've not lost. All hope is not lost.
No,
yet.
they were down 8 in the first half.
But you've got to get something going here offensively. You've got to get some rebounds. You got to make some shots.
It's weird because we could see Tennessee go into the sort of offensive slump that we saw the last 15 minutes of that first half, but whatever you were doing against Kinecht or whatever Kinecht was not doing himself, that probably was a big reason for it. And now that he's doing this, I don't even think it matters what the other 4 are doing.
No,
it doesn't. And at that point, I feel like you have to make a conscious decision whether or not you are going to just close out on Kinecht. And if that leaves Ziegler open from the corner, so fine.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to body him up, but we've got to get something going in the paint offensively. I mean, we're just depending too much on that 3-point shot. Outside of Terrence Shannon, I mean, nobody can score down low.
Well, sometimes when, like that lead at halftime, it felt like, how do we get that? And when you make just enough threes, it helps you overcome a lot. And I think, in a way, it shielded the fact that we were not as aggressive offensively as we had been the last 2 games. And I know Tennessee's bigger, and I know that they have a better defense than the last 2 teams that you played, but I also don't think that should dictate you doing what you want to do offensively.
That's right. But, if you can just get something going in the lane, draw some fouls. I mean, Terrence, over 50% of his points against FAU were at the line.
Right.
We need to get him to the line. He's got to be a little bit more aggressive. But also, you've got to have some guys hitting some shots to open things up for him down there, too.
Hey.
Well,
this turned quick.
Yeah. We were just talking about it. So, it can be a game of runs, and here they go.
And I will say, I've tweeted this, and much to some people's chagrin, but I've mentioned the point guard situation, which I know is easy fodder. I don't know how much that has to do with what just happened. You know what I mean? I mean, now offensively, you could argue that Illinois, part of any run for one team is the fact that you aren't able to score yourself. And offensively, or like Damask turning the ball over twice at half court, those are things that don't happen if you have a point guard. But I don't know how much that accounts for the 10-0 run that we just saw, where Kinecht is just going off.
Well, I mean, the bright side is that they're on a 10-0 run. You're on the road, and you're only down 6. I mean, it's still a 2-possession game.
It is, and I don't want to see us close. Like, okay, what happened there was Terrence left Kinecht just enough to go try to help on defense. I know that that's something that you have to do sometimes, but I don't care if the supporting cast beats you. At this point, with 13:39 to go, if you are able to keep Kinecht at bay, you have a shot to win this game when the clock hits 0. If you don't, you have no shot.
He's trapped. Okay, here we go.
So you broke the trap, thankfully. Watch out, Ty. Okay. So you are across with 20 on the shot clock. It is a 6-point Tennessee lead after you were up as many as 5.
You need a basket here in the worst way.
Yes, you do. And Terrence is coming out here. He's at the free throw line. He's going to find Coleman, who does a little dipsy-do, and he's going to try to take it to the rim. Will he get a look here? He does, and a nice help there from, Harmon with 2 putbacks today.
That's what he does.
I like this kid.
Yeah, I do
I say
too.
kid, he's like 22. But
he's really found a role in this team. There's no doubt about it. I kind of, beginning of the season, I was wondering where he was going to fit in. Is it going to be him? Is it going to be Gibbs Lawhorn? But he's been a pest defensively. They're not asking him to do too much.
I think, oh, my God, guys. And you see, now the loose balls and the rebounds you were getting when you were able to take that lead, you aren't. You aren't cleaning up, and that's just, at that point,
there it is,
man.
right here.
Be there, Coleman. That's open 3. It's up and good. That's his 3rd of the night.
There it is. That looks good. That's what you want to see out of Coleman.
Well, it is, man. It's a different team if he starts hitting offensively. I mean, that's really tough. He's basically negating or helping you overcome the fact that Damask has been a complete non-factor offensively. And that's just a silly foul.
How many does Coleman have?
I don't know. But, like, just if the guy's past you, I think he just put his arm out and it was just enough. But yeah,
Oh, that's his first. So
his first. Okay,
that's surprising.
let's see here. Oh, I guess make him earn it. And he knew, I think, knowing the situation, that he could afford that foul. So fine, better than an easy alley oop. As this is a big dude.
So that's our 7th team foul.
Jonas Idu
12 minutes to go.
at the line misses. It's already a productive foul. Tell you what, though, I mean, the first half, Tennessee went up 8, and it felt like, don't let this slip away. I don't think this is going to slip away from Illinois. In that, I don't think it's going to, all of a sudden, you're going to look up and see a 12-point Tennessee lead. Hopefully I'm not last words.
Knock on wood here. I mean, you're only down 3. It's a 1-possession game. Let's see what happens here.
All right, so he makes 1 to 2, 4-point lead with 12:23 to go. Media timeout coming out. Do you try to, I don't know. At this point, I don't know. I'd keep Coleman and Terrence out there the rest of the game. I mean, screw it. You got a week off.
Yep.
You got a week off after this. This is an opportunity for a win that would move you up an entire seed line come Selection Sunday, because Tennessee, what a feed.
There it is.
Oh, but Ty got fouled.
That's all
And
right.
that is their 5th. No offense to Ty. I know he went 3 for 4. I'm okay. That's not their 7th. I'm glad that they're getting closer to their 7th. I just don't necessarily want him or Dane to be taking in free throws. Because part of the reason you went 18 for 20 at Madison Square Garden is you're better free throw shooters with the ones taking them.
That's right.
All right, so this is Ty finding Luke in the corner. The 3 is up, and it's really badly missed.
Wow. Did he get a piece of it?
I don't know, but he missed one. He missed one far, his first 3 attempt. That one was missed badly short. Here's Kinecht with Ty on him. Oh, God. Justin has to help out on the switch, and we are giving up a few inches here with Harmon, who keeps Kinecht in front of him, and they switch back. And Terrence kind of overshot his guy. That right there actually kind of frustrates me, Brian. That layup was because Terrence overshot trying to get a steal, and then it was an easy take for Tennessee.
Well, I guess he can't be the best player on the court all the time.
Here's Coleman with a little hook. It's no good. A little bit off balance.
And they're back up 6.
Yeah. And now he's trying to take Kinecht. Kinecht left side of the 3-point line. This is going to be, 15-5 run for Tennessee. So they flipped the game by 10 points in the last 5 minutes.
Kill you.
That is a big 3. Ouch. The thing is, at this point, Brian, I don't know if a timeout's going to do you any good. I think you just got to kind of – you already took a timeout after they went up 6 a few minutes ago, right? You got a media timeout coming, so you just got to ride it. Damn. Man.
So Damask and Guerrier getting ready to come back in.
Yeah. This is going to be Goody for an open 3. That is good.
That was huge.
That is sometimes those 3s that if you happen to come back and win this game, remember the one that kept you from going down double digits. Because I would like to think that stemmed the tide.
All right, let's get a stop here.
10:38 to go, Tennessee ball. 6-point lead for them. Another stop can get you within 3 or 4. This is this big guy, Idu, going in on Coleman. Got his elbow kind of going in there. Great defense. They're going to call a foul. After all that, they're going to call a foul.
Is that on Terrence? That's number 3 for him.
What's frustrating about that, Brian, is before that, Idu was getting pretty elbowy down there, and then you see just hardly a touch foul. Man. Tennessee has got us just enough out of sorts for this to get, let's call it mildly frustrating.
I'd be curious to see if they take Terrence out right now. Give him a little bit of a breather. Maybe save these fouls for the next 10 minutes of the game.
Jacob says there should have been travel there. He's saying from the big guy, Jacob, because the one that was breaking down Coleman. And Sean Baptist says these calls are one-sided. I think in the first half they were pretty pro-Illinois. But are you getting the sense that this game is getting called differently in favor of Tennessee right now? I usually don't go down that rabbit hole, but I don't want to also dismiss anything.
I don't know. I try not to blame the officials too much, although in the Big Ten play, it's hard not to sometimes. Feels like the Big Ten officials are getting a little bit more criticism this year than I can remember in years past. I don't know who's officiating this game.
Well, what do we do? How does Illinois find themselves into a game where, let's say, 4-minute timeout, you're in it?
We just have to get back into a rhythm defensively. I mean, we've got to get some stops here. It seems like they're getting some easy baskets. We're not getting the rebounds that we were seemingly getting in the first half. These loose balls keep seemingly getting kicked Tennessee's way. I think if we can start to rebound the ball a little bit better, stop him defensively, I mean, we've got a real chance, but we can't let this get out of hand.
You know, it's weird. If I were to look at these first 30 minutes of the game and say, for what percentage of them has Tennessee been the better team and what percentage has Illinois been the better team, I'd actually say that Tennessee's probably been better for 20 of them.
Yeah, I would agree 100%. In fact, I would say probably 75% of that first half, Tennessee looked like the better team.
And that might be generous on my part, because if I think about the last 5 minutes of the first half and the first 2 or 3 of the second half, I mean, maybe 7, 8 minutes for Illinois, where they were, I think, objectively the better team out there. And I'm wondering how much of that was Illinois being much better defensively, which I think that's part of it, but also that Kinecht was quiet. And when he started going, then all of a sudden that changes everything and seems to open up the entire Tennessee offense, which actually this year has been pretty good. They were kind of known as this bruising team that can't score. Well, they played a couple games in the 90s already this year.
Well, Kinecht got 2 fouls in that first half.
That's true.
So he sat the last couple minutes of the half, really, when Illinois kind of took advantage and got that lead. So, I mean, as long as he's out there, it's going to be a game like this.
This is from Bobo. Tennessee is out rebounding Illinois 33-19, 33-29, excuse me, and I think I got a heart in the way there. I think it says 12-10 on offensive boards. 12 is a lot of offensive boards. I'm happy with our 10. I'm not at all happy with them getting 12
That's
themselves.
A lot of second chance opportunities for sure.
When you've got the size. I mean, you might have a prototypical center, but you have Guerrier specifically for that. You got Hawkins, who, as good as I think he's been overall, there's been a couple times where, for whatever reason, he's right there, and they're the ones that are coming up with the loose ball.
Well, Goody led the team with rebounds in the first half with 6. I don't know how many of those were offensive rebounds, but...
All right, 7-point lead for Tennessee. This stretch right here, I feel, Brian, will kind of dictate whether or not this is a competitive game to the last 4 minutes, right? Where if you get to the under 8 timeout and we're looking at like a 10-point lead, I'm a little worried that that's difficult on the road.
You need a basket here. Absolutely.
And here's Damask. Oh, boy. He does get it across, and he finds Terrence. No crossover dribbles there. He just kept it simple. Guerrier looking for Goody.
For him,
no, they are not. And then
here's a turnover on Goody.
What kind of entry pass was that?
Yeah.
It just was sloppy. And, uncharacteristically for the last 2 games at least, and actually for the last 4 or 5, because I know you were playing garbage teams at home, but Illinois was cleaning it up, relatively speaking, and this is going to be off Tennessee's foot, so that's a nice break. But, yeah, there's been some uncharacteristic sloppiness for at least the last few games for this team. And I know we had a lot of turnovers against Rutgers, but 4 or 5 of those came late when you're up 20. When you took that, what happened there? As they show the Goody replay.
All right, let's see how easy this is for Damask.
Oh boy, I mean, could we help him out with a pick or something? Okay, nice. Just get it across to Guerrier. Guerrier going to try to take it himself up, and good, and one.
There we go.
What's he got? 13? He had 9 from threes alone.
That might be 14 for him. I think he had 12 in the first half. That's 14.
All right. Doesn't he look the part?
He sure does. I mean, he is a grown man.
He's a man. And someone that would have helped you for a 4-year college career, too.
The last time a guy looked like a grown man like him on Illinois was when we had Ravonte Rice. I just cannot remember anybody else that looked more grown up.
And he makes the free throw. Illinois overall hitting their free throws today as well, at least over 70% for sure. Probably closer to 75.
I mean, it's a 5-point game.
Here they are.
Get a stop here.
Get a stop, but that's just it, right? Now, Kinecht is on the bench getting his last couple minutes of a breather. So, an opportunity.
Shannon's out there.
He won't sit. You can't set him. All right, so this is Vescovi up top getting a pick. And this is Damask on him over, I don't know some of these Tennessee guys' names, so it's some dude taking it to the rim. And now this is Vescovi for a corner 3. You've got to be kidding me.
Wow, what a tough shot.
What can you do about that?
There's not much you can do about that.
I will give him that 100 times a game.
Sure.
And he'll make 10. I mean, that's knowing your home rim.
taking over.
Oh you've got to make
that's
that.
Illinois ball.
It is, but gosh, Quincy, great move, but didn't finish. Watching this 3 again, you know what that reminds me of, and it's not quite as the degree of difficulty, but in 89 before the Nick Anderson shot, Jay Edwards from Indiana hit a shot from behind the backboard to tie it up to force Illinois to go win it. So that, not quite as dramatic there, but still a very impressive shot.
All right, Terrence.
Kudos to you. Terrence with the 2, it's up and no good. He's not doing what you need an All-American to do. And to me, the simple storyline of this game, Brian, was who's better, Kinecht or Shannon? That team wins.
That's right. No, I agree 100%.
I mean, I think all things else are fairly equal as far as the talent level on each team.
Well, we need Shannon to be Shannon here at these last 8 minutes of the game.
Yeah, and 18-foot jump shots aren't doing it. And that's all of a sudden a 10-point lead for Tennessee. Now their guys not named Kinecht are getting going. So, I don't know. You're finding just enough shots to keep this from becoming a major issue. But, boy, you are really playing with fire.
And you're running out of time.
You are. A foul here in Tennessee. That will be their 7th. So you will go to the line. Is that right?
That's right.
So, yes. A chance for Terrence at the line. How many does Terrence have? Is he still at 9?
I think that sounds right. Shannon's got 9.
I mean, listen, like you said, he can't be God every game, which he essentially has been. He is Ken Palm's 4th best player.
From the field, he's 2 for 11 from the field today.
And Brad's saying it's 1-1. It's 7 fouls. And there's 8:14 to go in the game here. Yes, it is 1-1. So, well, you got to make these. I mean, this is what it is, Brian. You're at a very low margin for error the rest of the game. It's you got to play your best 8 minutes of the year if you're going to get a win like this. And you probably would have had to anyway.
This is all without Kinecht.
I know, all without him on the ultimate closer, you know.
There we go.
Free throws up and in for Terrence. And is he? Yeah, he's still catching some. He's still on the bench. Maybe he'll come in at the under 8. Harmon getting ready to check in. And the second free throw is up and good. So I would assume, who's Harmon coming in for? Goody? Yes. Yeah. Okay. I think Harmon can hit a 3 for you here.
All right, here comes Kinecht too. So,
boy. Is he back out?
He's out.
Ugh. Terrence on him. Terrence with 3 fouls on him. Something to watch.
That's right.
With 8 to go. I mean, is there a chance that you just put Rogers on him, who's got plenty of fouls to give? He does not. Nice board here from Ty Rogers. So Kinecht's sort of settled there in a way that he has not settled this half. Illinois ball, down 8. Quincy runs into Coleman. Reset. Get some space for Terrence to try to cook. He finds Coleman for an open 3. The 3 is up and no good. But that was a good-looking shot. I mean, it didn't go in, Brian. I have no problem with that shot.
What a pass. What a pass.
Damn. 10-point lead for Tennessee. Vescovi.
This is going to be tough to overcome.
It is.
They have all the momentum.
Yep. 19 assists for Tennessee. Now, I will say, I know that was a storyline after Florida Atlantic where you didn't have many assists either. That wasn't the offense you ran. That can not be a huge issue.
That's just not who you are.
Oh, my God. Badly missed 3 from Quincy.
Yeah.
That, you know what that reminded me of briefly, was last year when you had guys who were like,
all right, this
is over. This is toast.
This is going to get out of control here.
12-point lead for Tennessee. What you don't want, Brian, is to evaporate the goodwill that I think had built up for most of this game until the last 8 minutes. Where you look the part, but now you're letting it slip away against a good Tennessee team that has lost 3 times this year.
They're making it really tough on Shannon. I mean, when you take him out of the game, you just see what kind of a different team we are. Damask has been a no-show today as well.
Complete no-show. And actually a net negative. It's not just a no-show. It's the fact that the turnovers led to 4 easy points.
That's right. I mean, this is a tough stretch of 3 games here. I mean, for them to come in and expect to win all 3 of these games was really...
Oh, this is gravy. It's gravy. But to me, this would be one of the few moral victory games where it's like, oh, yeah, you lost by 5, whatever.
Especially since Tennessee beat you last year, too. You wanted to come in and get one. Of course, that was also without Dalton Kinecht. Yeah, I mean, different team this year. I still feel pretty good, even if we end up getting blown out here. I still feel pretty good about these. Definitely the month of December.
Yeah, you got the non-conference one in your back pocket, which is what you needed. I think that these last 8 minutes, what I'm going to watch is, speaking moral victories, is how we close. Do we allow this to become a laugher, or do we make it competitive? And we are granted the ability to do that without we need a win because of what happened the last 2 games. I think overall this road trip there's been more positives than negatives. But you do see that this team is highly dependent, and it will be all year, on what Terrence Shannon does.
That's right.
That's it.
This team goes by the way Terrence Shannon goes. I mean, really, that's it. I mean, you're asking him to do an awful lot. I mean, he's arguably been your best defender, too. When was the last time Illinois' best offensive player was also their best defender?
Ravante Rice.
Maybe.
Speaking of a man,
Yeah, that's right.
And Iowa was very good defensively too. Though Trent might have been your backcourt stopper, I don't know, but Iowa was great defensively.
Sure, yeah. I still would say that Frazier was probably your best defender on that team, although Iowa held his own for sure.
Alfonso Plummer couldn't play a lick of defense.
No.
Didn't matter when you're shooting 50% from three.
Right.
Who cares?
Boy, we could sure use him today.
Andres Feliz, that
That's
guy, man. But that's just it. Like what I don't want to, and I tweeted this, and some get pissed off. But it's like, guys, well, I just don't want to watch too many games and think, but if this team is one piece away. Listen, most teams are more than a single piece away.
Well, we said that not having a true point guard was going to come back and bite you at some point, and here's the stat on the TV right now. I mean, 20-6 in assists. I mean, this is where it comes into play.
It matters. It matters.
You don't have anybody to distribute the ball, and it can really come back and hurt you. And this come tournament play is what scares me the most.
I see this Vescovi, and we got Moretti, and it's like, I want a Vescovi. I want that international player, the guy that's, I mean, the fact that he's off their bench.
It sounds like
He's
Moretti's
really good.
getting closer to coming back. I mean, there was some positive talk about him this week that there was a chance that he could be coming back here for too long.
Well, let's see here. I guess he's been there for a while. He's got 1,000 points at Tennessee. I know it.
Interesting.
Okay, well, listen, are you going to win this game? Probably not. Can you make it interesting and gain a little bit of, like, feel-good stuff?
Just get something
Yeah,
going.
get something.
I mean, this is probably the best defensive team you'll see all year.
Probably. This is going to be out of bounds, Illinois ball. Now we're settling for threes. Now, in fairness, if you're going to come back, you need to make threes. And there's been worse shots than that. This one's going to be off of, they can't review it, but they called it off Tennessee. So, another opportunity for Illinois. What's your thought on T-shirts under the jersey? I'm not a fan.
Honestly, never had a thought about it before today. That's kind of Coleman's.
That's Coleman's look. I know.
He'd look like a different player if he didn't have that shirt on there, for sure.
Let's see them delts, man. 6:30 to go. 69-57. Terrence has a lane here. He finds Quincy, who dunks it.
Now that looked good.
Okay.
That looked good. There's an assist, right?
Hey, the beautiful thing about basketball, and why I remember going to the Seton Hall game in 01 or 2000, part of the 2001 season, and we were down 18 at half.
Oh, boy.
No good. Get the board. Jesus, Damask, what are you even doing out there? Okay, listen. I don't want to be the one to pick at someone that literally scored 33 points. He had one block-out assignment. He doesn't do it. We get a foul. Now Vescovi's going to go to the line. Easy two. What is he even doing out there? If you aren't going to score, that's fine. But when you're 22, 23 years old, the least you can do is the basic rebounding, block out the guy so he doesn't go to the line for two. That's the kind of the things that we hadn't seen the last 4 or 5 games, not just from Damask, but from the team in general, that made you feel good.
Sure.
I want to see things that make me feel like, oh, God, we're slipping. Now, he does miss the free throw. That's as frustrated as I've got today. And I think we'll get, but come on.
It's warranted. I mean,
that's the basic stuff.
That's right.
All right. Well, a
He's
chance to get with the
senior?
Yeah. Or at least a true senior. I don't know if he had a redshirt year at Southern. All right, so this is Terrence who finds Goody for a 3. It's no good.
Boy, he's
Coleman.
today.
Oh, man. Ooh, boy, 10-point lead. I mean, that's not a bad shot, but I still think with this much time left, you can attack the rim and try to get an and one.
They're really closing off the
Whoa,
lane.
oh, my God. That guy's going to call that from back there when Coleman got all ball. That's really frustrating. That's a bad call. So anyone in the chat thread that is pissed off about officiating, that is a good example of that. Let's see the replay. Maybe he got his wrist.
Oh,
That's all ball.
That looked like all
and
ball
it's
to
the
me.
guy behind calling it. That wouldn't have been able to tell if it was all ball or not. That's so frustrating. The anticipatory calls just drive you nuts.
But like you said, it seemed those kind of calls were going Illinois' way in the first half.
They were. Yeah, he misses it. Okay, so can you get it 2 possessions at the under 4?
Is that 3 on Coleman, or is that still just 2 for him?
At most 3.
That's 2.
Okay.
So just about everybody's rolling with 2. Shannon's got 3. Goody's got 2 off the bench. Everyone else has 2.
Here is your goal. It's a little bit lofty.
Are we going to see Dane in the second half?
No,
I don't think so.
No. Can he get it 2 possessions under 4? Can he get the 2 possessions under the 4 timeout? And that's a lot. You're going to need a couple buckets and a couple stops.
That's 3 possessions.
That's it, unless you get
You're going to need to have 3 stops in the next minute and a half.
Yeah. Boy, that's a lot. And Tennessee will now start doing the thing where they can milk the clock. This is Damas for 3.
A little hesitation there. That didn't look like came off
No.
very good.
Terrible, man. Just shoot the damn ball. Well, you're wide open. And don't get now it's like, don't get in your head, okay? You aren't going to get 33 every night, but you don't need to get 33 every night. 10 would have done. 10 would have done today. And this is Kinecht. Oh, God. Up and no good and no foul. Good job by Coleman staying in front of him.
Great defense.
Here's Quincy. Oh, boy. Kind of a dead man's. There we go. Gets it over to Goody. Can Terrence touch the ball? Yeah, there we go. Just take it. The 3. It's blocked.
Unbelievable.
Terrence, dude. Boy. This is a little more frustrating than I thought, Brian.
I mean, they
ending with a whimper.
They just look all out of sorts
in
this second half.
Which is not what you want. You just didn't need to see that.
That's right.
If you go down 5-6 points at Tennessee, that is fine. Don't go out with a whimper. And it feels like that's what's happening.
There you go.
Finish. Terrence finishes. A steal and a finish. So it's a 9-point game.
So 3
with 4 to
game.
go.
4 to go.
Just, I don't know. Do they make it interesting here? 4:06 to go. And what do we got?
Is that a timeout for Tennessee?
Yeah, timeout for Tennessee. Just making sure nothing gets too crazy here. Yeah, well, okay. On the frustrated meter on a 1 to 10 scale, where are you at? Considering the context that you won the last 2 games.
About a 6. I mean, I'm still taking into context we're on the road. This is a tough 3-game stretch against a really good defensive team. Dalton Kinecht, I mean, he's an All-American.
Though he has been quiet the last 5 minutes. It's really been the supporting cast that's kept prolonged this lead for them, surprisingly.
That's right. So, I mean, sure, I'm frustrated. Some of the officiating is frustrating. But, I didn't come into today expecting a win. I really, I knew we were capable of winning this game. We're making it somewhat respectable for the most part. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it plays out. Like you said, I'm kind of curious to see how they finish in this, but I'm at a 6 probably.
I'd say a 6 is accurate. There's been a couple individual plays where I'm like, oh, don't do that. Like, that's the one thing the old team should not do. It's something that I would have seen from last year. But the unfortunate thing, I think, is that with last year happening the way it did, anytime this team has a brain fart, it'll be like, no, don't do the last year thing. Listen, teams should have, and they will, make brain farts. That's going to happen no matter how old they are. I do think, too, that no matter how old you are, this is a team that we just could not outsize. This is a team that we couldn't out-athletic. I don't know if you out-athletic it, if that's it's not even a word, FAU, but you did have a size advantage that allowed Damas to cook.
Sure.
And that allowed Terrence Shannon to cook. You didn't have that today.
That's right. They don't have the true center, though, that FAU had in Vlad Golden. I mean, that guy was a difference maker. and you're not going to see too many of those guys this year. I mean, with the exception of Zach Edey and I guess Cliff Amori, who I thought was going to be much more impactful for Rutgers. But, we're not as big as these guys. We may be as tall, but we're physically, these guys they all look like Terrence Shannon out there.
Adam Fletcher is really good at his job, but there are a few matchups every year where you're reminded there's a lot of really strong college basketball players.
That's right.
And there's certain games that you watch and it's like, I want that guy. Like you're at a toy store. It's like, I want that one.
Sure.
And that's even with a guy like a Quincy Guerrier who he looks the part. But, man, there's just some mean-looking dudes on other teams. Like, I want a mean guy, you know?
Sure.
Who is our mean guy? Quincy's too nice to be mean.
I mean, you'd have to say Ty Rodgers probably.
I guess. But, and as much as I like Ty, that is one thing that I think we need to decide, okay, what's the role? I mean, and I'm not even going to ask him to do that. He's a sophomore. But what are we really expecting him to do? Because offensively, there's nothing. Defensively, there is something. Rebounding, there's something. That's a guy that's really good for 15 minutes a game. I just don't know if you can do the 22-25.
Well, just think about what this roster could look like next year.
I don't want to.
I mean,
it's
we'll be active in the portal,
of course.
It's
scary though.
You've got some freshmen that aren't getting a lot of minutes. What does that look like in today's college basketball? I mean, are they going to look for other opportunities where they're going to be the guy? I mean, it's really going to be interesting. I mean, I know not to go into next year. I mean, we've got a lot of basketball to play. This is still a really good Illinois team. I've got a lot of hope for the season that this is a team that potentially could break the curse and going to the second weekend in the NCAA tournament. They certainly have the talent to do so, but this lack of point guard thing is really starting to show itself today. For sure,
it's one of those, Brian. Like, I don't want to be uber repetitive, but it's like the turd in the punch bowl. We know it's there. It's not that you can't overcome it. It's not that. It's just that it's a fairly large thing to overcome. And you mentioned next year. I mean, the way that this is set up, yeah, it's going to be a completely different looking team next year. This was a 1-year kind of proposition when you got Coleman and Terrence to come back. It was like, well, let's just see what these guys can do, and maybe you can break that, as you said, curse of getting to the second weekend. And I think they can, but it is, like always, going to be contingent on the matchups. But no doubt, part of my concern, and I guess you could say disgruntledness, again, they're anticipating a foul. Part of my concern and somewhat disgruntled thing with Underwood going into this year was, okay, this is the roster you assembled for a one-off deal. And while there's some good stuff there, there's just a glaring enough weakness to make me think, wow, all offseason to get that one thing, you know.
Maybe if we had Moretti, things would look a little different. Although defensively, I think he
that
still
would leave
is
you wanting.
a liability there.
I am excited to see him get back out there, and I don't think there's any need to redshirt. I mean, listen, the way college basketball is, I don't think redshirts there's even a point anymore.
Moretti might be your starting point guard next year. I mean, there's a realistic possibility.
Oh,
that
man.
could happen. I mean, you know, anything's possible with the portal, but I mean, he might come in as your number one option at point guard.
Yeah. Quincy gets fouled here, going the line. Lauren just said ouch, but Lauren, if you could let me know what the ouch is for. Because the thing is, we are a little bit behind, I believe. 3:36 in the game. I got the Hulu live. Quincy going to the line here. He's got 17. He's 2 for 3 from the line today. 46% on the year. I know he hasn't shot many, but geez. You know, this is another game too, Brian, where he makes the first. Got every bit of the rim, but he made it. Where you needed a guy off the bench to have a good game, and I don't think you got any of that. You didn't have the efficiency offense. You got 4 points from Harmon, but he scored 17 in the previous 2. He misses the second, and wasn't even close. Luke Goody was bad other than rebounding. He was. And you just didn't have that other guy. I mean, who's had the best game for Illinois? Yeah. I think that's where you know you've lost the game, because I can't answer that.
Well, it's clearly been Shannon, but I mean, point-wise, and Guerrier was a huge bright spot in the first half.
Well, how many does Shannon have right now?
So Shannon's at 13, Guerrier's at 17, but he had 12 of those in the first half. So Hawkins has got 12.
What's the field goal percentage for Illinois? Doesn't feel good in the last
32%.
32%.
32 to 44. 44 for Tennessee.
Jesus. So, yeah, that ain't going to work.
But we've shot 35 three-pointers. We're 9 for 35, 25% from 3 today.
Yeah.
And, you know, and we're getting out-rebounded. So
well, that's a 10-point loss.
That's it. Right
Against
there.
a good team.
Against
a good team.
With 20 assists to our 8.
Yeah.
I mean, they're sharing the ball well, and that's the problem for us, is that we don't move around enough. I mean, you've got Shannon just trying to drive seemingly every time. I mean, he's leading the team in assists. I don't know about today, but for the season he is, I know.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy. 11-point game, 3:23 to go. So I guess, listen, the rest of this game it's probably not going to end well. It would take a miracle, and Tennessee is a good team. So let's start with the obvious.
I mean, nobody's moving around.
No.
Guerrier trying to do it all.
But
this is like I came from my first grade son's basketball game.
You're like,
today,
move!
And we're all out there yelling, move, get open, move around, help them out.
Somebody move.
And that's what we see right here.
Hey, we need to check that little flop here on Vescovi there. Oh, no, he actually got hit in the face. Never mind. Whoa.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Okay, Guerrier at the line. It's up.
So Guerrier's been that guy. You talk about who's your second best player, or even the guy who's had the best game, and that's Guerrier today. I mean, he's 18.
So overall, this will be a loss on the road to a really good Tennessee team. It will not hurt you come Selection Sunday. It won't obviously hurt you in the Big Ten, and it probably won't hurt you in the AP rankings where you got the FAU win, and you'll probably even move up a spot or two. And Tennessee will probably move up a spot or two as well. So all in all, it was a productive road trip. And there is the value in learning. He falls, almost got the steal. There is the value in learning early, right? And getting a loss like this, 10-second violation, not dead yet, with 3:04 to go.
Hey, you hit a 3 here. We'll see what happens, right?
We're doing this? Are we going to do this?
We are.
We're fake rallying. Here we go. And they did get a 10-second violation on them, so well done. Right? Well, they can't review it anyway, so if they called it 10 seconds, it's going to stick. Oh, we got a break there. Hey, listen, for those that think the calls haven't been in Illinois' favor, I don't know, man. I think it's been fine. I've seen worse screw jobs by the ref. I think if anything, when you just look at the box score, you can pinpoint why are you losing by 9? Well, duh.
Hey,
it's all right there. It's pretty obvious today.
They just flashed it up there, but only 8 turnovers today. It kind of feels like it's been more than that. But
because in a way, aren't bad shots.
It's just
they feel like a turnover.
We're not hitting our shots, and that's been the difference in the game.
Damask, one more chance to do the booty ball.
A little hesitation again there. But.
Yeah. Now he will go to the line to shoot 2. Foul on Ziegler. And only 8 seconds went off the clock, or 10 seconds went off the clock there. So listen, like you said, if you get to 6, then we got something. And Damask will play better than that. We had a chat. I need to ask you this because in our chat thread, I posited that I think Damask is actually really good. I think he can be a 15-point-a-game guy. Of course not 33. We all knew that. But I do think he could be 15 points a game. Tonight, he was bad. Do you think that he is going to be well, give me your expectation in terms of averages. Points per game.
I think the expectation coming into the season was probably right around 12 to 15 a game. He's at 12 a game right now. That 33-point outlier against FAU kind of increased his averages a little bit. But that was my expectation, that he's going to be your second leading scorer coming into the season. But I didn't feel like he had to be. I mean, I kind of had the expectation that Coleman might be kind of battling him out there. But Coleman's not even in the top 4 or 5 scorers on the team right now.
No, and the injury hurt, but yeah.
That's right. So, yeah, I mean, the expectation was probably 12 to 15. And you know what? He should be your second leading scorer.
He's got size. He's got a good shot. And, again, I think what you did against FAU offensively, and we saw it for about 8 minutes today, too. About 8, maybe 10 of the 40 minutes of game time. I think that can be replicated against many of your opponents, and even good opponents, because FAU is a good team, albeit not in a good conference. 7-point game here. But in the Big Ten, I do think it translates well. The question just becomes, as it so often will for Underwood until he does it, do you get the matchups needed in March? And one way you can do that, Brian, is by getting like a 4 seed, a 5 seed, which this team would still be on track to do, and just avoiding an 8-9 or a 7-10. You don't want that. You don't want to have to play a 1 or 2 seed potentially in the second round. And that's why last year grew so frustrating, because you're like, guys, you're staring down the barrel of having to play a 1 seed in the second round. And sure enough, that they would have beat Arkansas. That's exactly what would have happened. But they do have a team that's good enough in a 4-5 situation to get out of that pod in the first weekend.
It's all about matchups in the tournament, and I'm trying not to think that far ahead. But without having point guard, when was the last time a team without a true point guard really made it deep into the tournament? I mean,
I don't know. I can't think of one.
That's a tough question, I know, but
a really late block call. I mean, listen, that right there is because watch how late he calls the whistle.
Who was that on?
They called on Gary A, I think, like 3 seconds late. It's just terrible. And, Jay, I will agree, no charge. These refs are trash. I mean, the shoulder came down, and it doesn't matter if Gary A is moving. If the shoulder comes down and that initiates the contact, that's a charge. I thought.
Yeah.
Hell if I know. I honestly would love to see basketball without the charge and just see what effect that would have on the game.
Sure. Things could get a little out of hand.
They could get a little out of hand. It's a little XFL, but I'm just curious, what would that be like?
There's just too many occasions where it could go either way, and you have to call it one way or the other, and that's the part that I think really bothers me. So Luke Goody coming in, maybe a little spark. Off the bench, I mean, he hasn't played well today. I don't know, what is he, about 1 for 4, 1 for 5?
Yeah. Does he have two?
2 for 5. He does. He has 2.
Okay. But the ones he's missed I don't know where they
Yeah.
went. But he did make one that I remember we were down 10 or 11, and he made a 3. It was like, remember that in case we come back. Well, we haven't quite done that. Here's Damask, little booty ball.
1 for 6 today. Coming into this game, I think he was 45% on the season.
And Damask just couldn't put it away. And they call another foul on Guerrier. He hardly touched him. Is that 5?
I think that's 3.
Oh, so he doesn't have that
No,
many.
that's
Okay.
4. That's
That's
4
4.
on Quincy, yeah. So he has 4. Coleman has 3. Shannon has 3. I mean, there's not enough time left in the game for that.
Nah.
Gary has 20 points.
Yeah, I can't ask for much more from him. Well, as we'll start wrapping things up here with 2:10 to go. Tennessee will put this thing on ice.
I mean, the difference in this game is Terrence Shannon going 3 for 13 from the field.
Yeah,
today.
that's it. Your All-American was not an All-American. Their
No.
All-American was.
But you know what? He's been quiet the second half, although he does have 21 points.
And he got the 13 just like that. Boom.
Mhm.
He got his 13 points to put them up 7, 8 points, and then they never looked back. And then he saw that Tennessee actually has a pretty good supporting cast as well. All right, well, as we start putting a bow on this game, frustrating for sure. And unfortunately, what I thought after the first half was just going to be highly competitive
move around.
throughout.
Move.
Yeah. What I thought was going to be highly competitive throughout was not. And we got a little hot potato here on the perimeter. They're going to find Coleman for a 3, and it's no good. It's off. That's a push off. Yeah. That's a push off on Kinecht, yeah. Of course, this guy comes from Northern Colorado. And what's funny is if you are FAU and you check the box score and you see Damask scored 2 points, and you're thinking, you've got to be kidding me. That's four, sorry.
Yeah, he has 4.
That's basketball,
One
man.
field goal. He's 1 for 10 from the field.
1 for 10. And these have not been the degree of difficulty in some of these shots, not that crazy.
Hey, Illinois is up to 31%. No, wait. They're 31% from the field, 25% from 3 today, 9 of 36.
All right, here's Terrence at the line. He'll get 2. Here's another thing, and I do this soapbox every now and then. It's 1:20. This game has been 2 hours and 20 freaking minutes. It's college basketball.
Right.
What are we doing here?
That's right.
Remember, college football, I understand I'm spending 4 hours in the stadium, and that's just kind of what it is, which is...
So we've had 14 fouls in the second half. Is that right?
Sounds right. And I know, of course, that's part of the reason the game is slowed down. I just don't think the game was that much more physical this half than the previous half.
Unbelievable. 14 fouls in the second half.
All right, so they're going to call a timeout on Tennessee here. Jesus. Well, if you're cool to hang out for another 10 minutes, we'll probably...
Sounds good.
So coming up for Illinois, we got Colgate, Missouri, and Fairleigh Dickinson. I like the week off. I like the week off before Colgate. To me, I understand that's the signature trap game, but that would be a trap game if Illinois had actually shown in the last few years that they care about the Missouri game, which I don't know if they do. But here's the deal. If you win the next 3, it's great. I mean, that's a really good non-conference.
For sure. I couldn't agree more. I mean, you were a little bit worried that you weren't going to win any of these really tougher opponent games, but you finish off, you beat Missouri, you do what you're supposed to do against Colgate, Fairleigh Dickinson. I mean, I'm feeling pretty good going into Big Ten play. Northwestern's no slouch, and that kind of pisses me off a little bit.
Oh, it's the
yeah. But yeah, I'm really excited to get into Big Ten play. I really look forward to it. I think it's going to be a fun year. There's going to be a lot of parity in the league this year. At the top, I think we all expect Purdue to run away with it, but anything's possible.
And here's the thing. Despite what happened to Florida Atlantic and, we're playing really well, I have no designs on the Big Ten championship. I don't. Like, similar to Illinois football, I didn't care about Indy. It's like, okay, win 7 games, win 8, have a good follow-up. Of course, they didn't. With this team, I don't need a Big Ten title. I just finish 2nd or 3rd. That's going to get you a 4 seed, 5 seed in the NCAA tournament, and that's what it's all about.
That's right.
So I will not be watching each Big Ten game thinking, guys, if you don't win this, you're going to blow your opportunity to win. I don't have that even in the back of my mind. It would take maybe a win at Purdue or something to be like, oh, whoa.
Sure.
Interesting.
Purdue's going to drop another game or two
that
nobody expects them to drop. And I just cannot envision Michigan State being this bad. I mean, they're going to do nothing but get better, I would think.
We got to stop. Terrence taking it up, and he will go the line for 2.
Hey, that stops the clock, right?
Stops the clock. Chance to get it within 7. Oh, my God. And then are we going to start fouling if it's – I think you try to get one more. I don't know, man. I mean, this game could go forever technically. You know, there's this thing that they did in that basketball tournament that started over COVID. There's some rule that when you get to a certain total point mark, it's like the next team to score 10 points wins. Do you remember that tournament that happened over the COVID summer?
Sure.
I forget what the name of the rule is called, and if anyone in the chat window remembers, it's what it does is it eliminates the free throw shooting contest that happened at the end of mini games. It removes the time element and tells the team that's leading, all you got to do to wrap up this win is score this many more points. We would never see that implemented, but these sort of free throw shooting fests are just, man.
It's hard, especially when you know that you're really out of this game. But still, I mean, you make it respectable. You lose this game by 6 points. It feels a lot different than if you lose by 12.
Yeah, and that's Ken Pom had as a 5-point or 6-point loss. And as Jacob said, the Elam rule, and it's from the basketball tournament, the TBT. All right, so tried to go for the steal there, didn't quite get it. Coleman trying to get the steal from Kinecht.
Now you might as well just
I don't know. What do you got? 1:10 to go. Yeah, just try to get a stop. Do we really need to foul them? They do foul. So the little man, Ziegler, is going to go to the line. And it's weird because on a team full of 6'7" guys, here's this 5'9" point guard who's tough.
So how many free throws? I think that's the question that I really want to know. How many free throws?
And we're making them.
They've shot.
They've shot a lot too, yeah.
So they're 19 for 26, 73%. We're 21 for 25. So it's really been evenly matched at the free throw line, which is really surprising.
21 for 25.
Yeah.
That is a bright spot.
That sure is. 84% from the line today. But then 31% from the field.
Well, that won't do it. 8-point lead for Tennessee. Sorry, 1:06 to go here, and
Ty Rodgers doesn't have a shot attempt today, which I suppose isn't surprising.
We had this thing when Grandison was getting started. We called him Jacob Standison because he was basically running and standing. That's what he was doing. Now, I think the Ty does a little bit more in terms of defense. Quincy taking it, and he makes it.
That's
7-point lead, and the last Illinois timeout.
Let's put it out there that Quincy Guerrier is the game high scorer, even
for everybody. Yeah, 22?
That's right, 22. Kinecht's got 21.
Another.
I like what he's been doing these last couple of games.
Guerrier?
He's really active on the glass. You know, that wrist injury really seemed to be bothering him earlier this year.
Yep.
Maybe was impacting his 3-point percentage, but he's been a bright spot for me. I mean, Marcus Damasco going 1 for 10 from the field. Shannon going 3 for 13. I mean, that's the game right there.
Yep, that's just it.
That's it. That's the game.
This is from Ryan. And Ryan, if you could help me out with this. So he says it'd be nice to prevent Tennessee from getting a 10-point quad 1 win. And I know that the quads do factor in margin of victory. Ryan, do they factor in margin of defeat? Like, do we want to make sure that we don't lose by 10 or more? It's all percentage points.
I think that impacts the Ken Pom, right?
It impacts the net rankings for sure.
Okay.
Ken Pom factors in that's so many metrics, and I don't even know really how he figures that out.
That's right.
But right now he has Illinois 14 and he has Tennessee 9.
I have metric overload, I think, most of the season. It's really hard to tell. Just win your games.
And I do think that, listen, even with today, I could sit here and say, yeah, I think Tennessee's probably the 9th best team in the country. I could see that. They look like a 3 seed, don't they?
Sure.
And Illinois, to me, looks like a 4 seed that will have a hard time against a Sweet 16 team, but you hope can get there.
This Tennessee team, though, didn't they give up 100 to North Carolina?
They did. And that was a game where that pace that we saw in the first 5 minutes of this game persisted. I mean, the thing is, Illinois' defense, I don't know if it's going to take that much of a hit in Ken Pom. They gave up 89 to Florida Atlantic. They're going to give up 80-plus to Tennessee. Okay. Are you worried about the defense? I haven't even thought about that.
No, not really. I was really hopeful that you were going to make teams adapt to your style of play. It kind of seems like, as good as we played coming into this game, that we've kind of been adapting more to the style of play of the opponent.
Yeah.
And I don't know what our identity is still. I mean, other than give the ball to Terrence and let him bully his way to the rim.
Coleman got the steal. Up and good.
Well,
boy, 5-point game, 54.4.
Here we go.
Are we about to see history, Brian? Could you imagine? Just for a second, hypothetically.
I don't
Damascus.
know.
get him.
I don't think so.
25. Oh, get him. They might get a 2. They were so close to a 10-second violation, but they finally get the foul. Okay. Well, wouldn't that be bananas if they did? But now there's a lot of people in Vegas that are sweating this out because I believe the spread was 6.5 coming in. It might have moved up a little bit. Coleman very aware defensively. So this is going to be Ziegler again. He made his last 2. All right, come on. Just miss one so it's technically a 2-possession game. Just miss one so it's interesting. First one's, of course, it's good. What you might have already said, but what's their free throw shooting percentage?
I think they were at 74% or 84%. Let me just confirm that.
Because we're 21 for 25.
75%. They're 21 for 28. We're at 20. We're at 85%. 23 for 27.
Wow. So the free throw's been really even.
Yeah.
He makes both.
And I mean, honestly, gosh, that was the thing coming into this season that you were really nervous about was how you're going to shoot off his foot.
Boy, that's a game to forget. Well, Illinois is going to lose this game. The miracle comeback isn't going to happen. I mean, he had a lane there to get past him. That's just uncharacteristically bad from Terrence. And a week off is probably what this team could use. They got some things to work on. They are a unfinished product, but they will fall at Tennessee, presumably, though we might still be here for another 3 minutes. Unless you get a steal and a 3. Yeah, you could.
125.
Oh, my God. It's 1:30.
1:30. Okay, my watch is slow.
No, my clock's a little sorry, my computer's a little fast. It's about 1:25.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It's not that I don't enjoy hanging out with you. It's nothing personal. It's like, Jesus, these games go forever. God.
Hey, you know what, though? Like we said, they made it respectable at the end.
Yeah.
This was a tough environment. I mean, we have the volume down on the TV. It's hard to say what the volume level's like, their home games are down.
If this were here and we were up 9, it could go for 3 hours. I wouldn't really care, So this is pretty much it. You either get a steal and a quick shot,
no
or
timeouts
you don't.
left.
Really, it's just Vegas that is probably interested in the margin here. And keeping it under 10 would be nice. I would have to think that if you... if you don't get a steal, do you foul again? I don't know. Just let it be. They're going to foul.
No, they're not.
Okay. Now, here's the thing. You're down 9 with 30 to go. Even if you make a shot, let Tennessee just dribble it out. Terrence makes it and won. Chance to make it a 2-possession game, right? Right? If you make the free throw, 2-possession game. And now that means you're going to foul again. If he makes it, you're going to foul because it's a 2-possession game. Yeah, we need the Elam rule, man. I need to read up on that.
It's a tough shot. I mean, that's what you wanted to see out of him earlier.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that, I know that's a great defense, but Terrence didn't have whatever it is from the start.
10 for 10 from the line.
Well, that'll do, and that's still something. I mean, when his bad game is 19, and some of these have been, I don't want to say garbage points, but points late where you're just trading free throws. But he's making them.
Well, here he comes, about to hit 20.
He hit 20. Jeez Louise. We'll probably still be in Ken Palm's top 5 players after this. Ooh. Yeah, oh boy. Yeah, quick foul. Way to go, DGL. What do you think about him? I don't know what that seems like a project.
I know. Well, that may be so. I'm really more worried about, what his demeanor's like off the court and really what's going through his head.
Yeah, because that seemed like the recruitment process there seemed okay.
That's right.
And, I mean, here's the thing. We got him. We got Ty Rodgers. We got Sincere Harris. Who can shoot? Moretti. Who's going to shoot next year?
Are you confident that these guys are all going to be back next year?
I think Sincere, truly, yes, I do. I think that's a legit red shirt, which is very rare nowadays. But in Ty, I would assume, and DGL won't have enough tape to say. I mean, he could go to a smaller school and be the starting point.
Let's just not assume any transfers. We know that there will be transfers. I mean, you're going to theoretically bring in 4 or 5 transfers, but who's your leading scorer next year? Is it Luke Goody?
He's not on the team. He's not on the team. Whoever it is not on the team, I don't think. So that's what's going to make it a really consequential offseason. And they all are now. I mean, but it just seems like He makes it. Terrence makes it a 5-point game, and Illinois is going to try to pressure.
Now he's the game-leading scorer.
Yep, with 15 to go. They're going to call a foul, even though the Tennessee guy just fell over. But 14.9 to go. It's just a question. Hey, you will not lose by double digits. That's good. It's for the net ranking, we would assume.
I don't know. There's still 14 seconds left. That could be 5 more minutes.
In real time, probably so. You see, we're really just hanging on for the...
Whoa.
He just fell over.
He just fell down.
He just fell over. Of course, he's going to make both. Oh, my God. Sorry, I know this isn't the most compelling podcasting. We're just trying to get the end here. We're sticking it out. We're going to get to the end of this game. And it's up, and a little turd made both of them. Well, Illinois will lose this game 86 to 79. There we go. Vegas knows 6.5-point spread. Illinois loses by 7. Have I seen worse losses? Yes. Did the second half leave you wanting? Absolutely.
Sure. Like I said, you're disappointed, but the outcome was what kind of we maybe all expected. Tough 3-game road stretch. I mean, just thank goodness you beat FAU. Imagine if you'd have lost that game, you lose this game, and really you're only 3 tests of the season. You've lost 2 out of 3 of those.
You have. We aren't counting Kansas in the non-conference, though. I think Kansas is struggling to figure out who they are relative to what Kansas normally is. But listen, you played Kansas in the preseason, you played Marquette, you played FAU, and now you played Tennessee. I think that we could say that you have looked good for maybe, let's call it about half of those minutes. And I'll throw the Kansas game in there. I actually thought you outplayed them for most of that game.
Sure.
So overall, for what I thought this team was going to be, which I was pretty low on this team coming in as far as I knew the floor was high, but I thought the ceiling was low. I think the ceiling's a little bit higher than I thought. But today was a reminder that even a guy like DeMass that can drop 33 in a game, when push comes to shove against a really good NCAA tournament team, I can't count on him. And I probably even, no matter what happens in the next 3 months, I probably won't be able to. He is still a guy that, it's not any offense to him, but he was a Southern Illinois guy for 3 years.
Sure.
He's not always going to be that high major stud. Some nights he will be. Terrence is going to have to be. And I think really the big takeaway, if Terrence is great, you can beat anybody. If Terrence is not great, it will be a struggle against good teams like a Tennessee.
That's right. No, I agree 100%. And, I'll be curious to see how Danger factors in going into Big Ten.
I don't know. I guess it's all matchup dependent, but it seems like most matchups now he's not getting a lot of tick.
That's right. I mean, with the exception of Luke Goody and Justin Harmon, I mean, what does the demeanor... What does that look like for the remaining guys on the bench?
Short rotation.
That's right.
Because you aren't going to get a lot of DGL, because you would have already if you were. And Moretti is, I think at this point, I don't know how you really bring him back for Big Ten play and expect much. But Illinois loses today by 7 points. Brian, I appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, happy to be here. This is a lot of fun. We'll do it again. Hopefully we have a little bit, like you said, a little bit more compelling ending to a game, moving forward. But I think things are going to get better. Like I said, I'm excited for the Big Ten play. I'm looking forward to that.
Win out in December, and that's a pretty good start to the year.
Yeah.
Yep, by 100%. Any measure. So, hey,
beat Missouri.
Oh, my God. Well, we will touch that when we get there, and I think we will. I don't think they're very good, but they haven't been good in the last few years, and they still kick your – not just beat you, but sometimes kick your butt. I think this Illinois team is old enough and wise enough that they should get it done.
Don't overlook Colgate beat Missouri. I'm feeling good.
They did. Sorry. I thought I read that as Colgate beat Missouri.
No. Don't overlook Colgate.
Yes.
Beat Missouri, and I'm feeling pretty good.
I agree. Those early Sunday games or early weekend games at State Farm never feel right because the crowd's never really into it, and that is one that I understand why people think that's a trap game. But exactly right. Don't overlook them. Beat Missouri, and then you're feeling great going into Christmas. And that, to me, would be mission accomplished for this Illinois team.
Agreed. 100%.
All right, so for Brian Hanson, I'm Mike Carpenter. For the 200 level, thank you to DP Doe. Thank you to Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing, State Farm agent Brian Hanson, and, of course, Owen Builders, LLC. Support the podcast by supporting our sponsors, and thanks to Champagne Showers Podcast Network. I'll be back midweek to do a podcast kind of wrapping up this 3-game trip and looking ahead to Colgate and Missouri. Thanks for tuning in on the YouTube feed, and we'll see you all soon. It is the 200 level. Woo, that was a long one.
All right, buddy.